Do any of you remember this little figure here? Because it's from a 60s TV show that you can look up on the internet. It starred Roger Moore, who used to be, who played the 007, James Bond 007 more recently. But in the 60s he was in this show, and this show was called The Saint, hence the matchstick man with the halo above his head. And the name of the character in The Saint that Roger Moore played was called Simon Templar, as in Templar, with an E instead of an A. But you get the drift. And of course we've got this saint type figure in this sort of rather camp pose. It's the kind of pose that a lady may offer you her hand, for you to kiss her hand, you see. But there you've got this this sign of this macho man in this effeminate sort of stance. Now, I personally have had people offer me a handshake in that stance, but when they did it, I didn't know what it was. What it is winged serpent. Now, you'll see the winged serpent pose being struck in many different movies, such as the film 300, where Leonidas meets King Xerxes, and King Xerxes puts his hand like this on his hip, and then extends his hand exactly that way, the flying serpent. Beyonce dances this position in her song All the Single Ladies. If you view the video, All the Single Ladies put a ring on it. Again, this is all about the winged disc. And there's in the dancing, for instance, what they will do is here's the person here. They'll put one hand on their hip there like that, and then they'll put the other one over their head like that, you see. So it's like, it's a snake, it's going over your head. So it's either in this position or it's in that position. So once again, it is the winged serpent, and of course we've got the halo here above his head. Now, Simon Templar, the Saint, Roger Moore, would also do this. He would, I'll just draw a face here. He would do this. He would, let's just say that's his face. I know it's not a very good drawing. But he would do this. He would look upwards like that. Just look up like that, and then a halo would appear above his head to the music. Bing, and up would come the halo. Now, this skyward look is a Masonic signal, and I had personal experience of this signal myself, where I was talking to a so-called friend many years ago, and he was always able to get the best jobs with the best money. I tried, go to the same places, I couldn't get them. And I said to him, you know, how do you manage it? Why you? Why can't I get the job? And what he did was this. He looked skywards like that. And I said, what? And he did it again. So I'm looking at the ceiling, wondering, what is he talking about? And he just, every time I asked him, he just looked up like this, like there. What he was referring to was the flying disc, that basically he was a Mason, and that is why he was able to get those positions, but I had to suffer. So it's handy for you to understand that if someone strikes that posture to offer you a handshake, before your hands even meet, they told you they are a Freemason or they are a tear. And if you ask someone a question concerning something that you would like to get into, which they can, and they just kind of look skywards, you know that basically they're laughing in your face. They're telling you they're a Mason, the winged disc, the flying disc, the one thing that Masons and tears are terrified to talk about. This is also the stance for acting out the children's poem I'm a Little Teapot, because you see, I believe that Masons and tears teach their children all this kind of cryptography from when they're kids, and in a lot of poetry and even cartoons, etc., you're going to find a lot of Masonic stuff which people are saying is subliminal. Well, it sort of is, but it's for the benefit of the Masons and tears kids to learn. So this is how the poem goes. I'm a little teapot, short and stout. Here's my handle, here's my spout. When the teacup's cool, tip me up, pour me out. And then it switches around so that this becomes like this. It says, I'm a clever little teapot. Yes, it's true. Here's a trick that I can do. and then it goes something like, here's my handle and here's my spout. So it's turned it around. Teacup's called, tip me up, pour me out. And the poem finishes with 1, 2, 3, do you want a cup of tea? And the do ya is like this. It's do you, yeah? 1, 2, 3, D, you, yeah? Because what it's saying is 1, 2, 3, D. And 3D is what the Masons and Tares use in their pictorial cryptography to make parallelograms of shapes. A parallelogram is basically something that, for instance, if you drew an oblong and then you drew another oblong, and they both looked as if they were different sizes, but they were exactly the same size once you fitted something of the same measurements into them. Yeah, it's an optical illusion. It looks like it can't fit, but it does. And this is why it says 3D. So basically, again, the little teapot, what it's saying is, I'm a little teapot. I'm nothing of the sort. I'm a winged, it says that I'm a winged snake. That is what it's saying. And that's the cryptography for the Little Teapot poem also. It's about the winged snake.